We'll start with an update of the current situation from Operations Section Chief Steve Ryberg.
Thanks, Cody. Okay, walking around the fire pretty quick. Charlie and Delta were in good shape, like you left him yesterday. That's how you're going to find him again this morning. Hopefully maybe a little more mop-up to him. We didn't have any activity that we were covering last night in Echo and W and Y. In Alpha, we did come from the line killing area and cold trailed and worked the line to the west, and we got about over into here. So we did build some line in there. There's still a big gap between where Day Alpha is and where we went to, but maybe it'll be a little help there. Out in this Division Bravo part here, it didn't do much. It laid down real nice, but it's up there on the hill, and we didn't do any engaging in that. Overall, the fire about midnight was real quiet. Even in the timber, it got fairly quiet. There's some clumps that were burning, but it didn't do much movement. And that's about it for last night. Oh, and in Bassett, they did burn the stringers of timber in Bassett on this slope here. So today you folks ought to be able to clean that up with the sage and the grass that they couldn't get to burn, but you guys can get that to burn during the day. So that we did do some burning on those timber stringers last night.
Behind that, you'll find a couple of pages of weather stuff that got in there erroneously. And then behind that, you'll find the actual weather forecast. And that's our incident meteorologist, Todd Baker.
Thank you. Good morning, all. If you have a chance there, I have a pen and ink change, and that would be just to scratch out on the ridgetop winds where it says variable around 5 this morning. You can scratch that out. It's pretty much going to be westerly 7 to 13, gust to 20 pretty much all day long, and scratch out in the afternoon part 2, please. We have weak high pressure building in today. The flow is going to be mainly out of the west over the fire, and that's going to be mainly up at ridgetop levels. The valley winds are going to be primarily slope driven, so you can expect some pretty gusty winds up to 20 miles per hour up the valleys, and looking for our RHs today to drop between 14 and 18% down in the valleys, and remaining 20-25% up at ridgetop today. It's going to be a bit more unstable today. The Haynes index of 5, so that's going to produce a mixing height up to around 20,000 feet this afternoon. So things are going to the air is going to want to rise a bit today. And looking ahead, there's a slight chance of rain showers come Thursday and Friday, some thunderstorms, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you.
Behind another extraneous bit of paper, you'll find the fire behavior analysis from Mike Powell.
Good morning. In case there's new people out here, a few things you need to know. One, we do have critically dry, live, and heavy fuels out here. These are really creating problems for us in the timber, and it's continuing to just make suppression efforts very difficult. We're getting a fair amount of torching and spotting. Long-range spotting up to a half mile is pretty common. But as we start looking at some of the general fire behavior here, the most intense fire activity is probably going to be about between 1,500 and 2,100 tonight. Before that time, things will get active. You will see some uphill runs, some group torching type thing. But like I say, about 1,600 is like you start listening to the radio, everybody's asking for helicopter drops just about everywhere on this fire. So that's kind of a real critical time between about 1,500 and 2,100. A few other things, the sage grass type stuff, when it does start burning, rates of spread in that are probably going to be about 1.5 miles today. With the increasing unstable conditions today, expect possibly some plume-dominated effects out here. The timber pockets will actually burn extremely intense today. Like I say, some of the effects may actually overpower the local winds that we're getting out there. So we start looking around the fire in Division A. This is actually kind of a little bit of a problem area. There's patches of timber here and there, and like I say, these patches of timber just keep creating problems. torch and spot and just kind of having problems. Some of this stuff is actually in the bottoms of the drainage that's up here, kind of getting ready to move up some timber stringers on the other side of this drainage. A lot of this is actually looking fairly secure when we start getting up into here in the headwaters of, I believe it's Clear Creek. There's another fairly decent patch of timber up there, and that's going to still create problems, and actually up in the headwaters of Timber Gulch there too. It's like I say, we'll want to run uphill during the heat of the day. We'll want to torch and spot. Spotting distance is a half mile. Like I say, that kind of puts it pretty dang close to the highway. Get a couple of those spotting events, we could be across the highway. So there's something you need to be prepared for out there. We start looking into the Warm Springs drainage. Their burnout operations, pretty much once the sun comes out and gets on those slopes, we should be able to start burning off that sage and grass. Don't see a lot of big problems there. This stuff will continue backing towards the creek from the south side. Like I say, some of that backing could get pretty intense with some decent group torching and possible spotting. Up here near Bald Mountain, still do expect a couple of runs to come up towards the ski area up there. When it gets into that sage and grass, if flame lengths today could be about 15-20 feet when it actually hits the ridge tops. So it's going to be pretty impressive when it does that. Do expect most of this stuff actually to kind of remain a little bit farther south than the lookout. But like I say, there's still a potential that things can be different from that, especially with the spotting that we've been having. This stuff here is actually looking pretty good, but like I say, with long-range spotting, I don't call it completely done. So it's something we just need to keep watching out for. Remember, there's people's homes out there. You know, don't worry about the Dollar Valley. They're homes, so think about that. You know, something happens out there that is pretty significant. Up here on Delta Echo area, this Echo area has still been giving us problems, and like same sort of thing. Once it gets in the timber, the suppression is just very difficult. Torching, spotting, intense fire behavior, intense activity. I don't expect this really to move much, but when, you know, the little pieces that it does will be fairly significant, especially if you're on the ground. Starting looking back on the W and this stuff's actually looking pretty good, but like I say, any little pockets of heat, especially in the timber, it's going to be giving us problems. Don't expect this stuff to move much either.
Okay, and now our incident commander, Gene Vincitelli.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys?
Excellent.
Most of you are asleep. Wow, you should see it from here. Okay, get somebody next to you, shake them awake, and tell them good morning. Oh, that's a lot better. That's a whole lot better, a lot more smiles. Okay, let's put this thing in perspective. The fire is over the backside, one ridge over from that one right there. The ski group is right up there behind us. It's pretty close to town. And even though it may take you a while to get to some of your assignments, it's not far from town at all. So on behalf of the community, let me convey their thankfulness for all your hard work, for keeping their homes secure and doing what you do, and also their gratefulness that no one's been injured, and we want to keep it that way. On behalf of Cal Team 3, let me tell you, we know what kind of dedicated work you guys are doing. We know the harsh conditions you're working in, and we know that you're continuing to make progress. We appreciate it. It's pretty awesome, and you are making a difference. So today, when you brief your crews, make sure that they know everybody appreciates what they're doing, because we're getting to that point in the incident where everybody's getting tired, and you got to know it makes a difference. Make sure that you're being safe, that you've got all your folks working underneath you, doing what they need to do to stay safe, and watch out for the folks working for you, working next to you also. Have a good day.